What's up guys, we've got a gift for us today here at A1 Trading. We got sent a little special package from Baxter Blue. If you aren't familiar with them, basically they make eye protection glasses for people who look at screens a lot. And definitely check them out in the link down below in the description. And we've got some for the team here, so let's dive into this. So these protect your eyes from blue light on screen. So if you're looking at screens all the time, which you know we are, it's good to have this sort of thing. So they load us up with 3 pairs. So a huge thank you to the people over there. It's hard to tell when you just like put them on, but you'll notice when you look at the screen, because I have glasses like these. After a little bit of time, you like notice that your eyes are taking like less strain, and then when you take them off and look at the screen, you're like, oh my god, my eyes are kind of hurting. For those of you guys watching at home, these glasses are super cool. They've got a ton of different selections that are like super trendy, and if you're more fashionable than me, you might be able to pick out really cool pairs that might fit you. So check them out, link it down below in the description. What's up guys? Okay, so I want to, before we jump into the trade breakdown here, I want to talk about this EURUSD short trade that I am currently in. This is a longer term short that I've been holding for some time, and you can see there is the profit currently, $1,480 currently open on this position. You can see if I go up here, it is a live account, no tomfoolery there, just real money on this account. But I want to also clarify something here. You can see this is a larger size account as well. So although this is a almost $1,500 profit as we look at it, it is also a larger sized account. So we got to put things in perspective. A lot of times people are showing ginormous profits without telling you that, okay, well, it is a great profit, but it's on a larger capital basis. So keep that in mind when talking about or looking at traders on the internet. You got to keep things in perspective. But I am going to close out this trade right here. So let's go ahead and just do that. We can close all of that out for about a profit there of just about $1,500 on this EURUSD short. Things went super well, so let's dive into the trade breakdown now. All right, what's up guys? Today I'm gonna take a few minutes to talk a little bit about this EURUSD position that I worked with for about 2 months or so. It was a longer term trade, actually one of the longer trades that I have been involved with in the foreign exchange market. So what we're gonna do today is I'm going to talk a little bit about the reasoning behind that trade, some of the lessons that I personally learned during this trade, because again, it was a slow trade. It took a long time to really start developing the way I was looking for, but I'm going to talk about it right now. So in the previous clip, you just saw me close out of that position. I actually did that yesterday, and I'm back in the office today, so I figured I would film a little bit of a touch-up or recap on that concept. So let's talk about it. Down below here, you can see I've got the XMR indicator. This is a tool that I personally use to look to trade longer term. It is available on our website. You can go check it out, a1trading.com. Check the software tab, and you should find information there about this tool. But again, there was some reasoning behind why I was net short on the EURUSD and why I had a bullish idea about the dollar. Now, before we get too far into the exact trades and the entries and that sort of thing, I want to talk about this concept from a big picture. EURUSD was on an absolute tear to the upside, right? Things were just going really strong for the bulls again and again. And for, what was that? Almost a 3-month, 4-month span, we saw just this incredible rise across the board as the US dollar fell. And so that what made it possible for the euro to rise and rise and rise. Now, the euro, by its nature, to me, had some reasons to be not super bullish on it. They've got their own problems, right? Economically, fundamentally. When I'm looking at these bigger picture things, I am keeping an eye on the fundamentals as well as the technicals. So the euro, to me, was not something to be super bullish about. And although I was not right immediately, right? Because this trade took a while for it to play out. Eventually, we did start to see the sell-off. So we saw this really incredible rise here. And I did get involved on some shorts that were definitely too early to the party. Now, the way I trade these longer term positions, I'm not recommending people to do this because I have a larger capital size, and I don't recommend this for smaller accounts or anything like that. But the way I personally look at this is if I'm willing to take a longer term position, I might try and take partial positions along the way, which means if I think that something is fundamentally overvalued or undervalued, I might build a position along the way. So I took some small shorts on the euro dollar as it was taking a push to the high side, making a push to the high side, right? So as we were moving higher, I ended up building a position that was like 4 or 5 trades big over the span of about 2 months. Now that seems like a lot of time, and I would not, again, not every trader wants to wait that sort of time for a trade to play out. But what ended up happening is we entered into this super consolidated area on the euro dollar. You can see right here, for all of this time from, what is this, back in 2027, 24, so July going into August, we basically entered into just nothing but a sideways market. Now, fortunately, I was able to capitalize on this consolidation by building a position towards the highs, meaning I built a short position on the euro dollar up around these areas, right? So a couple of different times I got into a short position and built my position a little bit bigger. Again, that's not for everybody, and this is a strategy that I've been doing for a long time on a larger capital basis with small positions. It is not something that I recommend people go around, doing unless you really have a plan of action. I have a max drawdown in mind. There is, if things get too ugly for me, I will close out of the trade for a drawdown or for a loss, right? So I have those sort of plans in place, but fortunately, our analysis was correct. My idea here was that we were a little bit overvalued on that Euro USD, and recently we took a nice sell-off there, actually moving from the highs to where we currently are today, a move down about 355 pips, which on some other pairs may not be massive, but on the euro dollar, which is a slower moving pair, that's actually pretty substantial. So we made that move to the downside and fortunately was able to close out that trade, which I think it was like a $1,500 profit overall, somewhere around that area, by building a position in this consolidation zone. Now, the reason I actually was not, I didn't have a problem holding through this consolidation zone is a lot of times when something is trending and then it enters into a long period of consolidation, it can actually mean the end of a trend. Let's go back here on euro dollar for a moment. You can see here we are in a downtrend, right? For a long period of time. And then we enter into this really weird session in 2020 where things are just back and forth consolidating heavily. And then bam, we actually explode to the upside and start that new trend. Well, the flip side started here where we basically entered into this consolidation zone here. And that's why I was happy to hold on to my shorts and see if they wanted to come down. Now, if they had continued, I would have probably looked to just get out of that trade with a loss and tried to control that as much as possible. But fortunately, things came down our direction and ended up closing out that trade for a very nice profit. Now, again, this is an example for me, a lesson for me in patience, because sometimes it can be very frustrating waiting for a trade to play out. You're holding something and you just want it, you like kick the chart, you want it to move, but it just won't move for some reason. Well, that's what was happening with euro dollar, and fortunately things did work out in our favor, not immediately, and it wasn't an instant gratification sort of component, but in the end we were able to stick to the strategy and make profit. So hopefully this was a good lesson for you, or a good example of a trade that mentally can be tough, but if you stick to a strategy that you've tested long term and you know that your risk is defined, you know that your risk is managed, a lot of times things work out. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you got something out of today's video, and we'll see you back next time.